Mr. Deputy Speaker. Oh, thank you for the cheer squad over there. I know that they all. Well, I'll work through this. I'm not sure if they do support the 𝒂𝒑𝒊𝒄 or not, but I might have to go back through some of the history just to see how much support there was for the 𝒂𝒑𝒊𝒄. But Mr. Deputy Speaker, it is a great pleasure to stand tonight and talk about the economic value of regions, because we know right across the Northern Territory the work that goes on in the regions, the investment in the regions, the people in the regions that are contributing to economic development right around the Northern Territory. But Mr. Deputy Speaker, the CLP does have a proud record, and I want to put that on the record today, is that we're backing the bush and we're driving growth across our regions. And before I get into it, I just do want to acknowledge Aboriginal businesses. I was at the opening of the NTIBN last week of the Indigenous Economic Development Forum, and to working through some of those figures. And Aboriginal businesses are for every dollar invested, it's returning $6 for the Territory economy, but also $3 billion contribution right across the Northern Territory, Mr. Deputy Speaker, and nationally $15 billion coming from Aboriginal businesses right around the nation. So it was great to be at the awards night, and I heard the member for Arnhem talk about the awards night. I was there as well, and I do want to congratulate all the winners that not only won awards, Mr. Deputy Speaker, but the number of Aboriginal businesses that are right around the Territory. I have Aboriginal businesses in my electorate, and so a big shout out to them, and thank you for all of the work you do. But the CLP is delivering for all regions, and Mr. Deputy Speaker, you can't rebuild the Territory economy without the strength of our regions, and the CLP gets that. We govern for all Territorians, not just those in Darwin and Palmerston, but those beyond the Berrimah Line and down the track to Katherine, the mighty Barkly, and of course down in Central Australia. The CLP 𝒂𝒂𝒊𝒄 government unveiled its Rebuilding the Economy strategy earlier this year to make the Territory the best place to do business. Unlocking regional growth is one of the 5 priorities for achieving our vision to rebuild the Territory economy by growing faster than anywhere else in Australia, and playing to our strengths by growing and building on areas with high potential for job and wealth creation, including in our regions. At the heart of this strategy are our regions, the bedrock of the Territory economy and home to our key industries, particularly energy, defence, agriculture, mining and tourism. In my electorate, and I want to focus on my electorate, Mr. Deputy Speaker, the economic value of my region to the Territory is absolutely clear, and it's growing. I did hear, I think it was the opposition leader, I don't know, she was rambling on about no economic growth plans, and but I do want to talk about, we've had a Barkly regional deal since April 2019, Mr. Deputy Speaker. So clearly the opposition leader, who was a former minister responsible for the Barkly regional deal, seemed to have no concept of what that regional deal was all about, because as part of that regional deal, which I was a signatory to when I was the Mayor of the Barkly Regional Council, includes an economic growth strategy. So sadly, the Labor opposition over there aren't aware of what's in the regional deal, but there is an economic growth strategy, a workforce strategy, and of course an Aboriginal workforce strategy as well. So bit of education there for Labor, who clearly didn't have any focus on the regions. So that's what's in the regional deal over there. So I suggest you pick it up, take it off the shelf, dust it off and have a look in there. Mr. Deputy Speaker, mining is a big part of the Barkly. We've just heard the announcement around Arafura, the rare earths Nolan's rare earths project, which is exciting news and potential for large-scale US investment. As well as royalties, there are expected to be over 650 jobs in construction and 350 in operational jobs for the region. It'll also boost the region through the pipeline of service industry required to support the mine. It's estimated to be in production well and truly by 29. Mr Deputy Speaker, mining is one of the major industries in the 𝒂𝒈, creating economic value for the region. Our government investment and focus on making Tennant Creek the Territory's mining centre. There has been recent announcements about verdant minerals out of Amaroo. That's a phosphate project, and they were granted mineral leases in early 25, and further good news, had mining authorisation approved in recent weeks. 𝒂𝒈𝒊𝒄, another large phosphate deposit out on the 𝒂𝒈 Highway with the 𝒂𝒊𝒄 phosphate deposit. The inaugural ore shipment from 𝒂𝒊𝒄's 𝒂𝒊𝒄 project is expected in Q1, Q2 next year. This initial phosphate will support agricultural productivity, while the future project phases will create opportunities for high-value downstream processing, manufacturing and investment. Again, this project is expected to create 50 jobs during construction and up to 100 direct local jobs, with further indirect employment and infrastructure investments flowing from it. And of course, the new mine, the Tennant Creek mine, Mr Deputy Speaker, a 20-year life at Noble's Knob gold mine in Tennant Creek, and I was fortunate to be at the opening of the mine with the Deputy Chief Minister. Got to see some of the operation, meet the people, but also just to have a look at the gold production going on there. So a fantastic project for Tennant Creek, which will create a number of local jobs and investment in Tennant Creek, and also create opportunities for small business. This $94 million project is expected to deliver an average of 60,000 ounces of gold per year over the life of the mine and create more than 160 jobs. The CLP is providing a regulatory and investment environment that helps get projects off the ground quickly and successfully. Other projects in the region, Castell Resources has the copper, gold, bismuth Rover 1 project, which is southwest of Tennant Creek. Tungsten mining in the Hatches Creek area. In my electorate, Mr Deputy Speaker, the MacArthur River mine near Borroloola has a mine life until around about 2040, and already the MacArthur River mine employs 1,320 people and contractors. So our government is delivering on its commitment to grow the Territory economy, drive regional development and support long-term job creation through a strong sustainable resources sector. Mr Deputy Speaker, in addition, in my electorate we also have Beetaloo, which is those that know about Beetaloo. We know that the Labor Party didn't support gas here in the Territory, and we were plagued by delays in getting those projects up and going. But Beetaloo is making progress, and at the moment it's creating economic opportunities, jobs for Territorians, and it's also creating a stronger regional economy in the 𝒂𝒈 and right across the Northern Territory. Labor left Beetaloo in limbo for nearly a decade, stalling jobs, stalling royalties and putting our own energy security at risk. The Beetaloo holds enough gas to power Australia for 200 years, and unlocking it will drive a gas-led recovery after a decade of Labor inaction. We are committed to backing the development of the Beetaloo and creating the economic opportunities that come with it, more jobs for Territorians, stronger regional communities and long-term royalty revenue. Sun Cable, again, I heard the opposition over there talking about Sun Cable. I think someone over there thought it was up in Elliott, but it's actually at Powell Creek. So that really highlights the problem over on that side of the chamber, Mr. Deb. They didn't know where the Sun Cable project was. So it just beggars belief that not only do they not know where these projects are, they did very little to get these projects off the ground. So the CLP is also investing in the bush. We're investing $4.14 in Borroloola to upgrade the power station, and we'll be delivering our $20 million commitment to build a new health centre at Borroloola. This is an example of the CLP government's commitment to working with Aboriginal communities, partnering with local business, organisations and the Australian government to foster economic development in the regions. Agriculture is another key part of the economic value of the 𝒂𝒈. There's around 50 cattle stations across the 𝒂𝒈 who are all significant and important contributors to the cattle industry and the wider $1.3 billion agricultural sector. But importantly, they're supporting local communities in the regions. The NT cattle industry manages nearly half of the territory's landmass and is more than 2 million head of cattle, making it a major contributor to the national and international beef supply chain. Mr Deputy Speaker, in my electorate, just down the road in 𝒂𝒂𝒏𝒂𝒏, 170 kilometres southeast of Tennant Creek, we've got the watermelon farm, Desert Springs Watermelon Farm, producing around 8,000 tonnes of watermelons annually. It's an incredible project which has been around since roughly about 2008, so around about 17 years, the project. But in that area, and I want to give Senafarm a shout out. They've done some amazing work in the area, working on other land opportunities in the 𝒂𝒂𝒏𝒂𝒏 region, but also just south of 𝑽𝒂𝒍𝒖𝒆, there's some further opportunities there that are being explored at the moment. There's also the 5,700 hectare Larimar agricultural precinct under development. Crabbing and fishing is a big part of my electorate as well. My electorate is about the same size as the member for 𝒂𝒍𝒖𝒆 electorate. But up there, up around King Ash Bay, though, Mr Deputy Speaker, fishing, crabbing and tourism opportunities up there in the Gulf area are being not only explored but utilised and creating opportunities and attracting visitors to the Gulf area. So a very important part of my electorate. Crabs are highly prized and sell to seafood restaurants and retailers across Australia and overseas for anywhere between $70 and $100 per kilo. Tourism I've touched on. The iconic Devil's Marbles in my electorate. We've got, as I said, King Ash Bay, Borroloola, but also through my region, the Devonport Ranges. There's lots and lots of tourism opportunities in the Barkly. Even if places like Aileron. The Mudgera man up on the hill there, 17 metres high, weighing a massive 8 tonnes, which was, I think Mark Egan was the artist that put that together. So another icon in the Barkly. Our government announced recently a $1.2 million investment in Battery Hill in Tennant Creek. And this is important, Mr Deputy Speaker, because we also announced a $500,000 grant it's an interpretation project, and that will also assist with storytelling, digital content and upgraded signage at Battery Hill. And when you compare that to some of the promises that were made by Labor during their 8 years in government but failed to deliver anything at Battery Hill, it's just an example of us getting on with the job and delivering. Despite Labor promised back in 2016 to upgrade the Nikininu Art and Cultural Centre in 8 years, and they still didn't finish the project. Under 8 years, they still didn't deliver the project. So coming into government, I was pleased to see that the CLP government got on with the job and finished off that project in Tennant Creek. But small business, Mr Deputy Speaker, really is the backbone of the Barkly, and whether it's a roadhouse, whether it's a restaurant, whether it's a construction business, civil business. We've just had the local hardware store change hands, owned by a local person. All of the roadhouses in the region are delivering for locals and attracting tourists as well. Those that come from Tennant Creek would certainly have heard the word "woks up." Woks up, and the member for 𝒂𝒍𝒖𝒆 and certainly the Central Australian members should be well aware that there's now a shop down there in Alice Springs as well. But all of those businesses are not only employing locals, they're contributing to the economy right across the Barkly region. So our government is supporting businesses to ramp up operations. We've exempted payroll tax for apprentices and trainees, and we're also, at the moment in Tennant Creek, tipping in $1 million to help progress further industrial land in Tennant Creek. I've spoken about roadhouses. We also have the Larimar Roadhouse, which is well known for the iconic Pink Panther Hotel in Larimar. That's recently changed hands. We've got Three Ways Roadhouse. I've spoken about the 𝒄𝒐𝒏𝒔 man. But of course, one of the important things about the Barkly and the economic growth in regions, you can't really speak about economic value without talking about roads. And that's what I want to talk about, roads, because this is one of the most important subjects. We know that you cannot unlock regional growth without connecting our regions, which will then enable us to connect the territory to the world. The CLP is making significant investment in our roads and enabling infrastructure, which is predominantly in the regions under budget 25-26, such as the $57.5 million upgrade to the Tennant Creek to Townsville Road, which is the Barkly Highway. This connects freight routes for the agriculture and mining industries, but also a very important road for locals living in the region. Particularly, there's family connections between Tennant Creek, the Barkly, Camberwell, Mount Isa. Such an important road to have that up to speed. I've spoken about the Beetaloo. We have a huge investment in the roads along the Carpentaria Highway. The Carpentaria Highway, Mr Deputy Speaker, now has from the highway in, about 140 kilometres of double-lane bitumen. So this has been a significant investment which commenced some time ago after the federal coalition government committed to upgrading that particular road. The 25 budget also includes $28 million to upgrade, widen and seal 20 kilometres of unsealed road along the Sandover Highway. Another initiative the CLP is significantly investing in is the regional logistics hubs, $440 million equity funding commitment through the Australian Government. This network of hubs will ensure the Territory has the capacity to support an estimated $38 billion worth of projects proposed in mining, minerals and energy across our regions. But it's also important, Mr Speaker, because listening to Labor, initially I thought, well, you would have thought that they were investing in our regions. And so I just want to speak about some of the failures. And I think when I go back and look at what was promised and never delivered in the Barkly, that it's been quite a significant number of promises that were made over many years in the Barkly, but just simply weren't delivered. And recently there's been an ABC article about housing in Borroloola, and this really caught my attention when I read that article, because the Labor government back in roughly about 2020 committed $3.5 million to build a 35-lot subdivision in Borroloola. But like many projects that were promised by Labor, not one shovel has hit the ground. So this is what we're following up on at the moment, Mr Deputy Speaker, a Labor failure up there in Borroloola, a failure to deliver a subdivision that was promised over a 4-year period, but not one shovel hit the ground. We talk about early childhood, we talk about education, the importance of that giving opportunities for young people to not only excel and get an education, but to prepare themselves for the workforce. So another promise, Labor over a number of years promised early childhood learning centres in Tea Tree, Borroloola and Alpra.
Sorry.
43, can I request a time extension for them?
Is leave granted?
Aye.
I think the ayes have it. Leave is granted.
So, as I was saying, early childhood learning centres were promised by Labor in Tea Tree, Borroloola and Alpra. Never delivered. Never delivered. 3 significant projects to support education at an early age were never delivered by the Labor government. Labor promised a new health clinic in Borroloola, never delivered that. That's an election commitment that we'll be delivering for the people of Borroloola. When it comes to health. Again, a significant part of being fit, healthy, able to participate in the workforce. On the 26th of April 2022, Labor promised 30 new dialysis facilities in the Northern Territory, 500 Aboriginal health worker positions, and they also promised that they would double the funding for rheumatic heart disease. Again, still haven't seen that promise that was delivered. Promise not delivered, I should say. I do want to talk about airstrips as well, because the significance of airstrips, and a recent announcement from the Commonwealth, and we'll be working with the NT to deliver sealed airstrips in 𝒂𝒂𝒏𝒂𝒏 and 𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒏𝒂𝒏. But again, 𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒏𝒂𝒏 was promised roughly about 4 years ago by the Territory Labor government. So we're working with the federal government now to ensure that that project is delivered. Back in 2018, the Labor government said that they were going to build a new 𝒂𝒂𝒏𝒂𝒏 facility in Tennant Creek. They committed $5 million back in 2018. And I think it was just the other day there was a question about, well, what about housing in Tennant Creek? So under that project that they promised, $5 million for a 𝒂𝒂𝒏𝒂𝒏 facility, what they said was that when they built, what Labor said was that they were going to build the 𝒂𝒂𝒏𝒂𝒏 facility and it would free up 19 public houses as part of building that particular project. So they never delivered the project, and of course 19 public houses are still being used by 𝒂𝒂𝒏𝒂𝒏 to deliver that alcohol treatment and rehabilitation program in Tennant Creek. They also promised to build staff accommodation at the hospital, 12 units, a promise made back in 2020, 12 units. So that's 31 homes that have never been delivered in Tennant Creek by the Labor government, 31. There was a initiative under the regional deal to deliver 20 social and affordable houses under the regional deal. Labor went ahead and built 12. So again, 8 short. When you put those 3 projects together, there should have been 51 homes. What we've got so far out of all of those promises from Labor is just 12. So that's where the shortage of housing in Tennant Creek is coming from, Mr Deputy Speaker. When we, there's a number of other projects. Back in 2018, Labor promised $5.5 million for turbocharging tourism. Again, never been able to get to the bottom of where that $5.5 million actually went. They promised back in 2019 to build a new watch house at the police station. Never delivered. In 23, they promised $11.5 million for a watch house in Tennant Creek. The very same media release came out 12 months later with the same promise, and they still didn't deliver. So again, what we see from Labor is managing the economy by media release, not actually delivering, making lots of promises, but never actually delivering. But I think the sad thing is that when you look at the 8 years under Labor, you've only got to look at why there was very little investment in the regions. And I'll just go through some of the projects that Labor put money into over the last 8 years under their government. When you hear them talking about investing in regions, but the reality is, and I'll rattle off some of these projects, but I can tell you where a lot of their money went. $164 million on an overpass on Tiger Brennan Drive, $100 million overspend on that particular project. That could have delivered 200 houses in the Barkly region, 200 houses, but they overspent that project by $100 million. They built the $145 million on the, well, it's still being built, invested $145 million on the Darwin Civic and State Square redevelopment. They built a police station at Nightcliff for $12.7 million, which was only manned between 8 a.m. and 4:21. They paid out to youth offenders the sum of $35 million. They built a $12 million grandstand at Fanny Bay. They overspent $14 million on the Garramula Boulevard. The one that always caught my attention was they spent $432,000 on a bus stop that they moved from Kavanagh Street to Smith Street and back again. so $432,000 of taxpayers' money built on a bus stop to move from Kavanagh Street to Smith Street and then back again. So $7 million budget blowout on the underground above-ground car park at Parliament House. We all know about the unshaded structure on Kavanagh Street. $2.7 million they spent on that, Mr Deputy Speaker. Now, that could have been spent in the regions more effectively than an unshaded structure on Kavanagh Street. They spent $4.3 million on a consultancy into health's COVID response, which ended up before 𝒂𝒄𝒐𝒏𝒔. So I'm still not sure what the detail of that was, but $4.3 million on a consultancy that ended up before 𝒂𝒄𝒐𝒏𝒔. $2 million overspend on the Myilly Point Playground. $80,000 to review the unshaded structure on Kavanagh Street. There was a $1 million overspend on the demolition of the Chan building. $220,000 spent on a renewable targets project, which was made public after an FOI request with every, and I think we've heard this today, every single page was redacted, even though they spent $220,000 on that report. But these are the ones that, this one has always worried me, that the Labor government spent $40,000 to advertise Boundless Possible on a rocket launched out of Queensland in November 2018. Advertising Boundless Possible on a rocket launched in Queensland, and it cost taxpayers $40,000. Now, surely there could have been $40,000 could have been committed to something more beneficial to Territorians, to people, the taxpayers here in the Territory, than spending $40,000 to advertise Boundless Possible on a rocket launched out of Queensland in November 2018. But as the Deputy Chief Minister says, and this is one of the Deputy Chief Minister's favourites, $5,000 spent to rent a Christmas tree. So these are just some of the examples of where Labor spent taxpayers' money over an 8-year period while in government. But at the same time, Mr Deputy Speaker, housing was neglected in the Barclay. As I said, I think, and I quoted the nurses' quarters, 12 nurses' quarters never built, 19 homes never freed up, the Bradag facility never built, lack of investment in roads, and it just goes on and on and on. So for Labor to stand up in here and start talking about how they support the regions, how they've been investing in regions, not knowing where the Sun Cable project is, not knowing that we have an economic growth strategy in Tennant Creek, a workforce development plan, an Aboriginal workforce strategy. It just goes to show that there was very little investment in the Barclay and very little care for what was actually happening in the Barclay. So it's been a great opportunity to get up here, Mr Deputy Speaker, and talk about what's been happening and what are the economic opportunities in the regions. And what I can assure you is that the Barclay, there are plenty of opportunities. It is the land of opportunities, and I thank the House for the opportunity to speak tonight.